Hi kids, welcome to Terry on Tuesday. This week has been quite a busy one with the project formerly known as Bloody Students. To get you up to speed, we did a Kickstarter a while ago and I cancelled the Kickstarter right at the end. We were going to hit the target, but there were a few things that popped up that made the continuation of the film difficult, if not impossible. Difficult I can handle, I think, but basically there wasn't enough basic support. You know, I was doing like everything myself, neglecting my day job, neglecting everything else, and I basically needed a bigger team, which I just didn't have. We had an actress pull out of the project. That was the third lead actress, and I wasn't able to cast a replacement. And there were other things, you know, sort of on the production side that weren't going too well. And I decided that rather than beat myself up over it and take the Kickstarter money and not be able to deliver the film that I promised, I decided to cancel the Kickstarter, not take anyone's money, and basically shelve it for the time being, and see if we can look at it again at some point in the future, if at all. So what happened last week? Well, basically, with all the stuff we've got so far, the props and the sarcophagi and the costumes and stuff, I thought, well, I've got to do something with this on a much smaller scale, A, to satisfy myself and make use of everything we've done so far, and B, to basically give something back to my cast and crew who have been stuck by me with the filming of what was going to be Bloody Students. So instead of just writing something brand new, I basically wrote a what if, and I kind of scaled it down a little bit. So I picked my two favorite actresses in the whole wide world, Kate Beckinsale and Michelle Pfeiffer. Hannah Clift and Angharad L. Ford, who played Benny and Kells in Bloody Students, and I wrote a sort of condensed version of the storyline, made a few changes to the characters, and turned it into a hopefully 10 or 15 minute short film. And that film is called MUMMYFIED. Now, being a grammar Nazi, you may notice that I've spelt the word wrong. Well, obviously mummies, as in Egyptian mummies, have a Y in them, but mummified normally has an I in it, but we'll explain that at a later date. Anyway, this short film picks up on, it's not actually a scene from Bloody Students, but it's an amalgamation of stuff that happened in Bloody Students, if you know what I mean. So it's like, we join these two characters trapped in a room full of Egyptian stuff in the museum, in a basement or wherever, with almost no way of getting out, and there are mummies at the door banging to get in. So I decided to shoot this over 2 days, the first day being action with all the mummies, the second day being dialogue, because it's quite wordy. It's only an 11-page script, which should equate to 11 minutes, but I'm assuming it'll be about 15 minutes in total. Now, in the past, I've always said I'm not into short films because they go up on YouTube and they get ignored after about 2 weeks. And I've never really been into that. I always wanted to shoot a feature. I thought, if you can get everyone together, why not shoot a feature? Just like we did with Offworld. Why do a short film? Well, again, like I said, to prove to myself that I can make something. I didn't want to get to the end of this year and sit back and go, well, that was a complete washout, wasn't it? And it's a shame not to use Angharad and Hannah, who are just fabulous actresses, and, you know, give them something to have on their resumes, as it were. So it's a self-funded short. We've done last week we did the first day of filming. Pictures are coming up as we speak, and you can see that we were shooting in a very small room. And this was a building within Gloucester Prison, which is now a listed building. It's an events location. Basically, it's still a 100-year-old prison, loads of history, loads of stuff going on there. There's b-ball skirmish stuff going on, ghost walks, historical tours, candlelight tours, escape room type stuff, zombie experiences, all that kind of stuff. It's really interesting. And the guys at Gloucester Prison, that's Andy and Clive, were nice enough to let me shoot there. Now the advantage is we can shoot there, we had the run of the place. I only wanted one room, so it didn't need to be a prison. It just needed to look a bit like a basement. And the disadvantage is the distance, because I've still got to pay for travel expenses and that kind of stuff. So anyway, Thursday we got together about 9 a.m. It was very wet outside, but basically we set the room up, dressed the room to look a bit more like a basement with the shelving and the props and those kinds of things. We dressed up our 3 mummies. So in the mummy department, we had Lucas Edwards returning from his stint on Bloody Students. So he was an old hand at wearing the costume and acting like a mummy. And we had 2 new guys, Callum Owen and Harvey Hill, local chaps who young guys who were very keen to help out, and they had their costumes on as well. So this is the most mummies we've had in one go, all wrapped up. It took hours to dress them. It took them probably, we're looking at about 2.5 hours to dress all 3 of them. Anyway, we started shooting around 1 o'clock. I did a little cameo because we needed an extra character for a non-speaking cameo. So I did that. Took about 3 or 4 takes, and that was it. And then it was action time. So we got in the room and we filmed the basically big fight sequence montage. It's not a perfectly choreographed kind of, Matrix, Jackie Chan, whatever you want to call it. But it is a montage of random, hits and punches and falls and fights and struggles and all sorts of stuff like that. So we shot as much as we could so we could finish up all the mummy stuff that needs doing. And then all that's left to do is about 9 pages of dialogue, which we're going to do in early October. It was a strange day because it was very slow to get going. And then as soon as we started filming, time was flying past. And before we knew it, it was 5:30 and everybody said they needed to go around 5 anyway. So we couldn't stay any later. Plus we were all completely exhausted. I'd been up since about 4 a.m. Had an hour and a half sleep. I was unable to sleep because my brain was buzzing with so much to do. But I think we had a pretty productive day. Everyone seemed to enjoy it. I paid the actors, cast and crew for their time and travel. Again, I'm a one-man band. I'm not a union guy. I don't expect people to have work for free. I will try and pay them something, even at the very least. If someone comes home from the production, they haven't spent money. They've still come home with something in their pocket, and it's not a lot, but it's how I feel. It's the least I can do, is pay something. Anyway, so we all had coffee and biscuits and cakes and stuff, and I think we had a pretty productive day. I've left quite a lot of stuff in the room, in the prison. So when we return, we can carry on and pick up where we left off and shoot the rest of the stuff. After that, it's a case of editing it as best we can, getting the music on, etc. Talking of music, we were joined on the shoot by my mate Lloyd, who basically has recently scored the horror feature film that's just been doing the rounds, called Scopophobia, for those guys, and that seems to be doing really well. Lloyd came over with his wife, who helped me greatly in the mummy department, dressing the 3 guys, while Lloyd is picking up more of his photography hobby, and he's took a lot of behind the stills photos, which are great. And yeah, it went really well. So that's what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. And I think it might be a nice thing to just try and get it into a few festivals and get people to see it. I'm not worried about film distribution. I'm not trying to use it really as a calling card to make the feature. I don't know if the feature will ever go ahead. So if you've got one of these, it might be, no, it's not worth anything. Of course, if it's well received and I meet people who are willing to come on board as co-producers and, hands on deck, people who will actually help me make the film, maybe we'll revisit Bloody Students. It's really gutting that I haven't been able to carry on doing that. But if I hadn't made, this short, I think I'd be even more downhearted that it's all gone for naught, as they say. So when will it be finished? Well, we're going to be shooting the second day, like I said, in early October, around October the 10th in Gloucester. I'm hoping we get everything done there. I'm not going to say we definitely will, but we're going to try and squeeze in a very full day of all the dialogue and all the takes we can get and play it for maximum drama stroke laughs. And then it'll probably take a couple of weeks to edit. I would say 2 or 3 sessions to edit. We shouldn't be too bad with that. And then just drop the effects and sound on. Hopefully I'll have some music from Lloyd to drop in. I know he's got a big we'll say that again. I know he's got a big back catalogue of music that we can probably use. And I'll sort that out with him. And then maybe we'll enter some festivals. Who knows? So that's it for this week. Reasonably short. We will, I hope you enjoyed the picks, just sort of give you an idea of what we're doing. Bear in mind, all these picks are not going to be totally representative of the film. It's going to be graded and everything else and edited. So let's see how that goes. Next week, probably back to Blake 7 Federation stuff. I've pre-ordered the DVD of Blake 7, the new Blu-ray that's about to come out of season 1, and I will be doing a series of reviews of season 1, and I will be joined with a very knowledgeable special guest who will help me review these. More of that when it happens. That's all from me for this week. Take care now. Bye-bye then.